sellers doing 6 and 7 figures, say, what are the best ways to negotiate these terms? So, you know, people normally do say 30 down, then the remainder 70%. But some people etch that out, don't they? They do 10%, then 20, then 70. Some people doing 10% and then 90 on bill of lading. What would you suggest is to warm newer sellers into that?
I would say whatever credit you're asking for your manufacturer purely depends on the relationship that you have with them. Yep. Because there's a big difference between if you're asking for credit from a trading company or from a factory. Like a trading company is very unlikely to issue any sort of credit, but if you're dealing directly to the factory, then they're more likely to be willing to help you grow, because as a result, you know, what's good for you and what helps you establish your business is going to benefit them in the long term in terms of more orders. So I've had instances where it completely varies based on like how wealthy the factory actually is, because sometimes they'll offer you 30 days credit, 60 days credit, 90 days credit. And that purely depends on how you best explain to your factory who you're supplying. Because like for me, I would say, look, I'm supplying retailers in the UK and they require 90 days or 120 days credit from me. So if I'm going to give them 120 days credit, then I also require you to give me 90 days credit to get this order. And they don't want to lose this big order. So then as a result, they're going to issue you credit. So by all means, ask for credit, but explain who your customer is. And even if, you know, you're selling on Amazon, you know, Amazon pays you out whatever every 2 weeks or at the end of the month or whatever, explain that to them as well. And just say, hey, look, I need to issue the extended credit as a result, because this is when I get paid for my customers. And then as a result of me growing my business, I'm always placing larger orders to you. So as a result, all the profits are going back into placing more orders. So I can place bigger orders if you issue me more credit or give me discounts or allow me to delay payment. So, and it's purely down to that relationship you have with them. You can't just your first order off the bat and just say, okay, cool, I need 30 days credit, because there's no trust factor there. But once you've basically established like a few orders and you've been working with them for a few months and everything's gone smooth, then you're in a position to really negotiate. And, you know, they want to see you win, because as a result, that's more orders for them. So you purely judge it off the relationship you have with them.
And if you don't have the scale that you have, the best way to do it is go to China, have dinner with them, and then they
get drunk with them.
Get drunk with them.
Yep.
Network with them, but being wholesome here. This isn't like, oh, I'm just going to go over, get pissed up with them just to get a discount or get a, you know, extension on term.
Yeah.
It's about building real long-term relationships.
For sure.
The idea is that they'll treat you like family. They'll send photographs, won't they? And there's certain celebrations, and it's having those kind of relationship what really matter, I think. And
exactly.
The way to do that is to get over to China if you can.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to choose your manufacturer wisely, because this is someone you're going to be working with for the long term. So you want it to be someone that you get on very well with. And like for me, like a lot of my suppliers are some of my closest friends in life. You know, they've come to Scotland to visit me. We've gone on holiday together. I've attended some of my suppliers' weddings. And, you know, like things like that is what's really going to get you the best terms, the best pricing, because they really want to see you win, you know, in business, but also as a friend as well. And, you know, the whole thing about getting drunk with suppliers is so true. Like, I'm not just saying that so you can get drunk. Like, Chinese believe that like the more drunk you get together, the better friends that you are. So quite often they don't even want to drink themselves, but they want to get drunk with you. So you feel like you guys are quite close. And, you know, when I first started going to China, it felt like just being on a constant like nightclub tour, because honestly, every city, every day was different factories, and it was so important to drink. And every night waking up with a hangover, every day waking up with a hangover, getting on a plane or a train to a different city and then doing it all over again. So, you know, it takes its toll on you. That's why I decided to actually move there, but it's so important.
Again, this is a good question for Steve, actually, because Steve's not a big drinker, are you? So, like, you'll have a different approach to that, because it's not what you do. So, what would be your approach in this situation for people that are non-drinkers, for instance?
Well, first of all, Danny, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, all good. Yep.
Okay, good. So, my apologies. I have to switch. I'm on my way to a board meeting, so I had to switch audio and everything. But yeah, so I don't drink, but I definitely can tell you that when you do drink with the suppliers, things go faster. I will usually have one of my team be my pinch drinker. You know, they'll drink on my behalf, because I don't drink alcohol. And at first it can slow things down a little bit, but when they understand, you know, kind of that's just the way I am. And they also understand that I will still place a lot of orders. That's really all they actually care about at the end of the day. And I've encouraged a lot of people to read the book Poorly Made in China by Paul Midler. And I reiterate that again. You know, China is the best trading culture on the planet, in my opinion. They're the very best at it, and they will use actions like drinking or any of these types of things, traveling together, etc. And I've done all of that stuff, like Kian talked about. Go on vacation with them and hang out together, and they come and visit in the various countries, and all of that is to build a relationship. But don't think for a minute that they're not doing that to generate an advantage. Know who you're dealing with. They're brilliant. I love them for this reason. But you have to understand that every little tweak of that relationship, the more you feel like, well, they're my friend, so I'm going to give them the order instead of keeping them honest on the price or the terms or the whatever quality, the more at a disadvantage you are. And my best friends over there in China that I've known the longest, and I started going over there in 2002, 2001, I don't remember. We have visceral discussions and arguments about price, quality, etc. And then we go out to dinner and drinking or whatever. You know what I mean? Even though I may not drink, I'll still go with them and hang out and have fun.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Angie, being on the other side, there's people try and take you out to get you drinking as well to get better pricing out of you.
No, not yet. I don't drink either, so I'm kind of like, good luck. No, but I mean, I've obviously had people come to me and ask for terms, and a lot of it really does depend on the relationship and how long have we been doing business and what kind of orders do they place. And, if I can get terms on my end from a packaging or other standpoint, then I can forward that along and offer some type of discounts or terms as well. So I just work with them with, whatever I can do, I do.